Hey all. Today we'll talk about this pile of garbage, which turned out to be a warframe, which was assembled from parts of other warframes. I, in turn, tried to emphasize their asymmetry as much as possible with the help of different elements of armor. But what exactly is this mix of scrap metal? Suddenly, they are of very sophisticated nature. So sophisticated that there is a chance to avoid incoming damage. They can also whisper a whole new status damage with the Abyss onto their weapons. In addition to increasing weapon damage, Sadus Whisper imposes a unique status on enemies that forms a sphere around the enemy, redirecting all our attacks that touch it to the center. They also hide a swarm of grasping tentacles, which easily deprives opponents of their weapons and turns them against their former owners. They can accuse enemies, which will force them to temporarily go over to Saika's side. By pointing their gaze at an enemy, they will literally freeze them in time, unleashing all the damage they took as soon as the ability's duration ends. They are capable of denying the existence of enemies, while inflicting colossal damage on them with the Abyss, literally erasing them from reality. But their most important ability is Exhibitionism. Shedding all unnecessary elements, exposing their rich inner world, Xaku become almost a skeleton of pure energy. This allows you to move faster. It becomes difficult for enemies to hit such a target, and time seems to freeze for Xaku, stopping the timer of other abilities until the vast untime ends. And yes, the developers themselves talk about Xaku in the plural. So what can these guys do in one shell? For today's build, I replaced the third ability with pillage. The ability will not be able to remove a lot of armor, at least until you install arch and shards that increase the damage from the abilities. In today's build, we need shield restoration to provide even greater survivability. The aura is aimed at restoring energy, but it is quite acceptable to replace it with any aura of the same polarity. In order to stay in skeleton form longer and have almost endless buffs from the first two abilities, I increased the duration of the abilities as best I could. However, the radius of our abilities is also important to us, so we install mods to increase it. You can play around with these two parameters, choosing the most optimal option for yourself. Our survival will be ensured by adaptation, gradually reducing the damage incoming to us, as well as quick thinking, which will prevent lethal damage to us due to energy. This means we need to increase our energy supply. Moreover, we will actively use pillage. Arcane Energize will allow you to replenish your energy reserves faster, but is not necessary. You can replace it with Molt Augmented, for example. Molt Efficiency will increase the duration of our abilities while shields are active, and they will regenerate very effectively. As my main weapon, I prepared the Convectrix, which has already appeared once on the channel. But unlike last time, we have a very interesting mod that I managed to buy from Nora. I had to sacrifice the mod with slash damage, but in return I got a huge chance of status and a very efficient consumption of ammo. And the damage reduction slightly compensates for the buff from Xaku's first ability. Since the rays will not be visible, I'll say right away that I almost always use the alternative firing mode, switching to the usual one only for acolytes. Melee weapons today are dual cleavers. Old but not useless hatchets that can still cut enemies into small pieces. I can't say anything about the secondary weapon yet, except that I will try to do something with it. But for the sake of completeness, I'll show you what mods are currently in it. Actually, only the mod from the Augur set is important, since it will increase the number of shields given to us for using the ability. Since the main weapon deals slash damage, the companion will be Panzer Vulpaphyla. School of focus will be Xenuric. From words to action, let's move on to gameplay. As always, I was glad to try for you. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Give your likes, write your wishes or comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Videos are released every week. If you want to help the author and the channel, I will leave the link in the description below. See you soon.